Every genius in history was a bad student. Einstein failed his entrance exam. Darwin was called a disgrace by his own father. Newton was sent home as an academic failure. Tesla dropped out. Edison had 3 months of formal education, total. This is not a coincidence. It is a diagnosis. Because the school system wasn't designed to produce brilliant minds. It was designed to prevent them. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can do what every genius in history eventually did, escape it. Pillar 1. The Prussian Blueprint. In 1819, the Prussian government faced a problem. Napoleon had dismantled their empire, their military was broken, and their population was, in the opinion of the ruling class, dangerously capable of independent thought. So they built a system to fix that. The architect was Johann Gottlieb Fichte. In his addresses to the German nation, he was transparent about the goal. Education must destroy freedom of will. The student must be conditioned to want only what the state requires of them. This was not philosophy, this was policy. The Prussian model standardized everything: age-segregated classrooms, fixed curricula, bells that divided thought into uniform time blocks, examinations that rewarded recall over reasoning, a grading system that ranked human beings against each other rather than against their own potential. Within 50 years, every major industrialized nation had copied it, not because it produced great thinkers, but because it produced something far more useful to the people in power: reliable, obedient, interchangeable workers. When the United States adopted this model, the agenda was explicit. A report from the General Education Board, funded by Rockefeller, stated its purpose plainly. The goal was not to produce great thinkers, but to train people to perform, in a useful way, the work the great machinery of civilization demands of them. Rockefeller wasn't building a school system, he was building a pipeline. Pillar 1. The educational system was not designed to develop your mind, it was designed to standardize it, and no genius in history reached their potential by remaining standardized. Pillar 2. The self-directed mind. Here is what every genius did instead. They built their own curriculum, not from what they were assigned, but from the questions that wouldn't leave them alone. Darwin read voraciously across disciplines with no formal connection: geology, economics, animal breeding, and synthesized them into a theory that shattered biology forever. Newton spent years in self-directed isolation during the plague, inventing calculus and unlocking gravity because the questions consumed him, not because anyone assigned them. Psychologist Benjamin Bloom's research on exceptional performers found one consistent characteristic above all others: early access to self-directed, curiosity-driven learning completely outside formal institutional structures. Not better schools, not better teachers, the absence of imposed structure entirely. This is the pattern the system cannot replicate because it cannot be standardized. Curiosity doesn't follow a syllabus, breakthroughs don't happen on schedule, and the kind of obsessive cross-disciplinary thinking that produces genuine genius is, by every metric the educational system uses, indistinguishable from distraction. Edison didn't have 3 months of formal education and go on to hold over 1,000 patents despite that fact. He did it because of it. No one had yet told him which questions were worth asking. The second pillar: the genius doesn't wait for a curriculum. They build one from the questions the system never thought to ask. Pillar 3. The sovereignty of ignorance. The educational system treats not knowing as a problem to be corrected. The genius treats it as the most valuable asset they possess. The system punishes ignorance. Wrong answers lose points. Uncertainty is weakness. The student who says, "I don't understand why this is true," is, in most classrooms, a disruption. But genuine intellectual breakthroughs begin, almost universally, with someone refusing to pretend they understood something everyone else had agreed to accept. Richard Feynman built his entire intellectual method around this. He called it not fooling yourself. He stripped every concept to its absolute foundation and rebuilt his understanding from scratch, refusing to carry forward any assumption he hadn't personally verified. His colleagues called him brilliant. He called it the only honest way to think. A landmark study by Kruger and Dunning demonstrated that the least competent individuals in any domain consistently overestimate their ability, precisely because they lack the framework to recognize what they don't know. The educational system, by rewarding performed confidence over genuine inquiry, produces this effect at industrial scale. The genius cultivates ignorance as a compass. Every gap in understanding is not a failure, it is a coordinate. It points exactly toward where the next breakthrough lives. The third pillar, what you don't know is not your weakness, it is your most honest map. The genius follows it. The system teaches you to hide it. The Prussian architects of modern education were not evil, they were efficient. They needed a specific output, compliant, capable, replaceable, and they built a machine that delivered it for over 200 years. The tragedy is not that the system exists. The tragedy is that most people never realized it was built for someone else's purposes. Darwin questioned received wisdom and rewrote the story of life on Earth. Feynman refused manufactured certainty and reshaped physics. Edison had 3 months of schooling and out-invented an entire generation of formally educated engineers. None of them waited for permission to think differently. None of them accepted the curriculum as the boundary of what was knowable. You have always had the same choice they had. The question is whether you recognize it.